Tokenization is a process after all. So it's a process that attached fractional ownership of property rights to a unit in a distributed ledger on the blockchain. The rights are represented digitally in the form of a token, and that's where the name came from, tokenization. So tokenization is a term implying two innovations. First, fractionalization, and second, digital representation. When it comes to real estate, fractionalization is not so new. Institutional investors are accustomed to fractionalize their real estate exposure in a syndicated structure that we usually call fund. And actually, if you've been on our past webinars, we talked about fund management. And that's a way to fractionalize the ownership of real estate. On the other end, private real estate investors can nowadays access through crowdfunding platforms different type of project to invest into real estate alongside other investors with a low buy-in threshold, so at low amounts. So people, be it institutional investors or private investors, are used to this concept of fractionalizing their ownership. So it seems that the real innovation is around digitalization. That's where we're going to focus now. So there are two distinctive possible structures for tokenized assets. One is where the asset is native on the blockchain. So on this virtual database, that's the first aspect. The other is a digital representation of an existing asset that exists off-chain. So an asset that is real and that is somewhere, but the token just linked to that asset. So that asset is not on the chain. So if we put the tokenization of property rights in light of the real estate transaction process, we might quickly identify a benefit to a decentralized process that is today very centralized. So if you think about where is it centralized, it's centralized around the notary. So when you realize a real estate transaction, you have to go to a notary that is going to change the land register to execute the ownership. But the disruption of the land register is a very long road and not one that we're going to take today. The tokenization process that I'm referring to today is the digital representation of shares in a special purpose vehicle, also called SPV, that is established off-chain, so outside of blockchain. The SPV is owning the underlying real estate, and the shares into the vehicle is distributed using the blockchain technology. So in effect, blockchain is just a distribution channel to get access to real estate. The process of creating those tokens is referred to as security token offering, or STO. The reasons why the property is not digitalized directly on the chain is because it does not fit the land register system. And it is relatively easy on the other end to set up a SPV and digitalize a financial instrument, be it a share purchase agreement or a loan agreement. So now security tokenization of real estate doesn't look so different than traditional indirect real estate investments such as REITs, real estate investment trusts, or private equity real estate funds. So you have on this slide, on the right-hand side of this chart, a side-by-side comparison of the issuance of tokens, so the far right-hand side, and next to it, the equivalent with an initial purchase offering of a REIT. So you see it's the same. The structure is going to hold the assets and then is going to be distributed. The only difference is that the vehicle to distribute that is going to be done in the form of a token for the tokenization. From this comparison, tokenization ends up being a more cost-effective way to actually distribute the ownership of real estate. Given the size of real estate asset class, the tokenization of real estate might be the most significant opportunity to the tokenization of other assets. So by combining the tokenization market estimates that you can find in various studies and the global shares of real estate among all the assets, we could come up with an estimate of the size of opportunity, which is at the top of this chart and is 7 billion by 2027. But the industry has still a long way to go. To date, there's only 630 million Swiss francs of real estate investments that have been tokenized, and the market is growing at a very fast pace. With very recently, there's been like 3 real estate STO that just occurred in April 2020. So the growth rates underlines the readiness of the infrastructure and the fact that there are some underlying benefits linked to real estate tokenization. So let's